Hi, my name is Christina and I have Mobius syndrome. I am trying to spread awareness of the syndrome. So if you want to learn more, watch this video. So today I want to talk about letting go, learning to let go, and how it has been very important to learn how to do that, having Mobius syndrome. I think when people see that I have Mobius syndrome and how it affects me physically, they only think it affects me physically, but I have found that it also has affected who I am and how I react to things, or how I have had to learn to control my emotions and work through them. So I think having had Mobius syndrome all my life has made it really important for me to be able to uh, learn how to let things go. And you might wonder why this is important, and it's because I understand that there's a lot of things that will never be possible having Mobius syndrome. And I think that realizing that has been very difficult. So learning to live with it has been difficult, or live without it has been difficult. Learning to live without these things has been difficult. And so also accepting the fact that I will never be able to have certain things or do certain things has also been extremely difficult. I think that, well, when you're little, when you're a child, it's very normal to have these ideas of what you want to be when you grow up. You know, even in school, they ask you, oh, like when you grow up, what do you want to be? What do you want to do? So I think it's normal to have these ideas and think of these things of, oh, when I want to grow up, I want to be this, or I want to look like this, or, I want to grow tall. And, so something that has helped me uh, learn to let go of things is actually the grieving process. And I think when you think of grief, you think of when someone passes, and then, of course, you're sad, um, among other things that come with grief, which actually there are 5 stages to it. They are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And from what I read, they don't all, it doesn't happen in that order. It's not like a neat succession of feelings and emotions that happen and then that's it. You don't feel anything anymore. From what I read, it's the feelings come and go, the different stages come and go, and you think you're okay, and then one day just something triggers a feeling, and then you're at one of the steps of grief. Um, and I do feel that I have gone through all of these steps in relation with having Mobius syndrome and learning how to just let go um, of ideas and feelings and just the impossibility of things. So I think that even if you don't have Mobius syndrome or if you don't have anything similar to it, it's still very important to learn how to let things go. And maybe looking into grief and seeing what it is and understanding it can help you um, let go and heal from what you're feeling and going through. So, um, learning how to grieve and learning how to let go of things has been very important in my life, having Mobius syndrome, because there are some things that I would have liked to be able to do that I now accept that I will never be able to do. So the alternative is to do it another way or just be okay with the fact that it will never happen. And I think obviously there are physical things that I will never be able to do with Mobius syndrome. and that includes moving my eyes left to right. I can only move them up and down, and then also being able to control my lip movements. And I think this has been particularly difficult for me to come to terms with, that I will never be able to do, because I think there are a lot of things that I would like to express, or even if I'm joking, or I'm sad, or literally any emotion. As we all know, we have that body language that comes with the emotion or with the action that you're trying to do, and it's very important to understand facial expressions as body language in order to be able to recognize it on someone, and then know that they're trying to communicate with you and what they're trying to communicate. So I know that there's been a lot of times where I try to joke or I try to say something and it comes out not how I wanted it, but I think it's because it wasn't accompanied by the correct facial expression, or the facial expression could have helped take the joke to the end, or recount a story, or just help with conveying the emotion that I was trying to convey. So I've come to terms with that I will never be able to, for example, raise my eyebrows or like do the side eye. And I won't be able to make different smiles that tell you different things, like being cheeky or being sad or just frowning. Like, I will never be able to do that. And I have to find other ways to get the message across. Actually, when I talk to people about this, they say, oh, with the intonation of your voice, you express a lot of these feelings. And so that helps me know that I am finding other ways to communicate when I'm trying to communicate, whether it's a joke or whether it's a story, if I'm trying to be serious or funny, that people are mostly understanding it. But I do have to be aware that sometimes it doesn't come through, and I have to follow it with, oh, that was a joke, or like, oh, now I feel sad, or, I think that's not fair, or things like that, words like that, phrases like that, that help people understand what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to express. Another thing that's related to my physical appearance that I do have to still work on to accept is the fact that because of the surgeries that I have had related to Mobius syndrome and trying to get a little bit of facial expression, I do have scars that are visible. I want to talk later on more about them, but just looking at me, I think you can see the ones that I have here that are very visible all the time. And I do have some on my neck and along my jawline that are also always pretty visible. And I know that there's treatments for scars to minimize them, but I know that they will always be there. And especially these right here and, the forefront of my face, they are a little more deep, and I have had treatments. And so this is actually a better version of how they were. Um, and they're still really noticeable. To me, they have never really bothered me. I forget that they're there. So it's not like I'm looking at myself all day and just, I just see them all the time. But when I do take photos, depending on the light, they are more visible. So then it's okay. Like, it's fine. But I think just the fact that I will always have them and I can't get rid of them completely. And because it is something that came from having Mobius syndrome, it's just something that I have needed to learn to accept. I can never go back and have the skin that I had before I got these scars. And then there are things that are not physical that I feel like people who don't have Mobius syndrome wouldn't understand. The need to learn to let go of certain things that are not physical. And these include not being fully understood. And I think it goes back to what I was saying about the emotions and the expressions that you're trying to convey. But I think also it's been hard that Mobius syndrome is very rare. So not a lot of people know and understand what you're going through unless they have it. And I think before growing up, not to give my age, but back in the 90s, the internet wasn't really a thing. So finding other people that were like you was not as easy. I think now with technology and social media, and the easiness of that, it makes it a little bit better to try and relate to others that do have the same thing that you have, that are going through what you're going through or something similar. And I think now uh, it's a little easier to learn to let go of not being fully understood, because I think at the end of the day, we all have our personalities, and the people that take time to know you are going to understand your personality, and they are going to understand you and who you are and everything that comes with that. I also feel that I have developed a more shy and introverted personality than I normally, or that I would have if I didn't have Mobius syndrome. And as an adult now, it's still difficult for me to do certain things like public speaking or like dancing in public, all these things. I feel like I am always aware, like extra hyper aware of it, of the insecurities that I have with it, because of I don't like being the center of attention, and I don't like being in a crowd and everyone looking at me. But I feel like I have had to let go of feeling embarrassed or feeling awkward, and just learning to live life and enjoy the moment, and letting go of those negative feelings that come with not wanting to be seen in public, or knowing that no matter what, you are going to be looked at, you and stared at, because you do look different. So I have had to learn to I guess be okay with that and let go of the constraints that these feelings like embarrassment or awkwardness do bring, because I have developed it having Mobius syndrome. Hi, sorry for the interruption. I have so much more to say on this topic, but I don't want the video to be a million years long. So I will be posting a part 2 to go with this video. Thank you for watching until now. Consider subscribing and following me on Instagram at my_life with Mobius. Bye.